Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today, well, if you can see by the eBay branding, I've been at it again. Yeah. Ooh. And this thing is heavy. This is a beast. What we've got here is we have got a Siemens PG-730. Basically this is a computer, but it's not like a home computer or an office computer. This is a dedicated industrial computer for a specific purpose. And what I'll do in this video is we'd unbox it, because this has just arrived in the post from the seller on eBay, and I thought we'd have a look at it. There is something wrong with it, that's the only reason I could afford it, but that's not insurmountable. And I don't actually think anyone has actually shown one of these on YouTube before, because I was doing a search on YouTube earlier trying to find any information about this thing. Now I do know a little bit about these, because believe it or not, over 20 years ago, back when I was an electrician, I actually spent about 6 months working with one of these machines, a slightly newer version of what I've got in here. The machine that I was using was from the mid-90s, as where this was from the late 80s. But what this is a computer designed for programming PLCs, which are basically little, they're like a little single board computer used for like automation in factories and air handling systems, and that's actually why I'm familiar with them, because I did used to work on air handling systems many years ago. And these little modules are used to control everything in industrial automation and stuff like that. And you program them basically to do what you need them to do. And this machine is what would program them. And actually, I think somewhere in the depths of my junk, I actually have some PLCs that are the right era for this machine, from back when I used to work on them. So there is even a chance. If it did, I'll have to edit that out. Right. Oh wow! It even comes with a power pack, power cable. Now I actually bought this off the same charity that I bought my Toshiba T1200 off. I spotted this on their eBay listings, and it was a little bit more than I was willing to pay for it, but I put an offer in, and a little bit of back and forward, and eventually they did accept my offer. Now bearing in mind, these machines normally, you do see them listed on eBay, and you see them listed from any price from about £150 up to over £2,000. Hence why I wasn't really expecting to lay my hands on one. But I paid somewhat under £100 for this, quite a bit under £100 for this one, but there is a reason why. Get through the bubble wrap. Very nicely packed. They do know how to pack the stuff at that company. Like I say, it's a charity, I think, and they kind of like recycle old computers and teach people, repair and stuff like that. And anything that's, too old for them to really do anything with, they do sell off on eBay as vintage, untested vintage. And that is how this has come into my possession. Now, to call this a laptop, it would be ridiculous. You can see in fact, here's a good idea. This is my Toshiba T1000. Which is quite a large laptop. Yeah. It is significantly bigger. So this isn't a laptop by any means of the imagination. It is, however, portable, as in... Oh dear. I'm even squashing my packs of discs there. They're all scrap ones anyway, they need to go in the bin. It does actually have, believe it or not, a carry handle on it, but you wouldn't want to carry this thing very far. It is heavy. If we open it up, look at that, check that out. How cool is that? We've got a contrast control on the screen there. We have this awesome keyboard. And it almost looks and feels like the keyboard on the Sinclair QL, with the way that the keys, you know, like kind of raised up from a square key underneath like that. And it doesn't feel it actually feels a bit like a Sinclair QL keyboard, to be honest. It feels kind of mushy and horrible, but it looks so cool. Ooh, let's just move it back there. And you've got basically all the standard PC keys on here, but then again you also have other keys that a PC keyboard wouldn't have. Like I said, this is not, even though it's based on PC architecture and it runs MS-DOS and it can run various other operating systems as well. Like I said, it was not what you'd find in an office or a home or anything like this. This was a dedicated computer for a specific task, really. So anyway, that's it open, as you see, PG-730. There was also a PG-740. I can't remember the model number of the one that I actually used, but it was a different form factor to this. It was it kind of stood about the same size, but it kind of stood upright like that. And you press some catches here and the keyboard swung down like that, and it had a much bigger, better screen there. And it ran Windows 95. This is from 1989. This runs MS-DOS. Or it may even run Flex OS, because I believe some of these actually ran Flex OS, which was a different, completely different operating system. So if this has still got a hard drive in it, which I don't know, and if the hard drive does still function, this might even still have all the PLC stuff on it. It might be running Flex OS, it might be running MS-DOS. We really don't know. Let's whiz it round onto the back. Oh, this is so heavy. Right, okie dokie. Now, with what we've got on here, in fact, this is actually a very slightly different model to the... I did actually download the full manual for this when I knew I'd actually got this on eBay. I've just noticed something. This is actually very slightly different to the one that I've got the service manual for. We've got a COM port there. We've got a COM port, we've got a printer port. Now on the one that I've got in the Surface manual, it's got a VGA port here. This one doesn't. And then it's got ArcNet, which is a fibre optic network protocol, was there. On this one, we've got a monitor, it says SVGA, but it's a 9-pin plug there. We've got a standard VGA there, and then we've got the ArcNet further over there. And on the other one we had 2 ISA slots. On this one it looks like they've replaced the top ISA slot with that, and then we've just got 1 ISA slot underneath there. To be honest, what I want to do with this, probably 1 ISA slot is all we're going to need, so that's not going to be a major issue. But obviously this is a slightly different revision to the one that I saw, like I said, that I've got the operation and service manual for. We have what computers wouldn't normally have here. we have a socket there, and that's actually for when you're programming PLCs. They actually have little modules that you can plug into the PLC, and you can unplug them modules, and they generally speaking have an EEPROM on them for whatever code it's running, and you can actually take them out and plug them in here and program them modules straight from the PLC programmer. So basically it's like a very basic rudimentary EEPROM programmer built into the machine, but we would need, in fact, if I can find them old PLCs that I've probably got some cards. I might even have an EEPROM card that we could plug in there and possibly see whether we can get that part of it working. That's indeed, if we can, you know, get this machine fully working. I think it basically, from what I saw on the eBay listing, it basically does work. The problem with it is, it's got a bad LCD in it. Now, if you just watch my video on my Toshiba T1200, and you can see how the screen is starting to degrade a little bit in the corner there and in the corner there. Imagine that, but over the entire screen. Essentially, that's what's happened with this screen. I'll actually get the power and we'll power it up. Now, I've seen it's not just powering it up cold, because this has already been powered up. It was shown running in the eBay listings. I could just about make some text out on the screen. So it's not as though we're plugging something in that's not been plugged in for 20, 30 years. If any damage has been done, it has unfortunately already been done. But at least we can see what it does from the start. Now, what can I plug in? Oh, actually, I've already got an IEC here, already plugged in, ready to go. So let's plug that into the back. Okay, we're powering on. Let's have a smoke test. We'll switch on. And as you can see there, essentially this is what's wrong with the screen. As you can see, it started to delaminate there. Did just hear the disk drive fire up. Obviously we've got a bad CMOS battery. We've got invalid configuration information. It says strike the F1 key to continue, F2 to run the setup utility. Right, let's try and get into the setup utility. F2. Basically, we're not going to be able to see it, are we? No matter what I do with that screen. Oh, hang on. If I turn it right up, I can just about make that out now. It said errors have been found. Can you lot make that out? It's very, very, very hard to read. So this screen is basically gone. I weren't actually expecting it to work quite. Yeah, if I crank it right up, I can just about make it out. But this is only a black and white VGA panel. It's a very basic LCD 640 by 480 VGA panel. It's nothing fancy at all. One of the things I am thinking about with this computer is to actually swap that out with something better. You could get a version of this with a colour screen. Now, it wasn't a particularly good colour screen. It was still, again, it was 640 by 480. And it was one of them horrible screens that you could only see from really directly on. But I could put a much more modern, much nicer colour screen in this actual computer and do something really quite nice with it. What I might do actually, because we have got VGA pass-through on the back, switch off again. I will get my VGA monitor out. I'll get set up a bit differently. We'll try and power this thing up with the external VGA monitor so we can actually see a little bit better what it's actually doing. Now, if this has still got its original hard drive in it, it's only one of two types of hard drive, as it says in the manual. It's either a, I think a type 17 or a type 32. One's 40 megabytes, one's 100 megabytes. So we'll get into the BIOS. We can actually see if it'll recognise the hard drive. I didn't actually hear the hard drive spin up. It could have been removed from this because actually it did go through like an e-waste kind of recycling place. Even though they're a charity, I think they still have to, you know, destroy data and things like that. So it could very well have had its hard drive pulled. Even if that's if they even realised it had a hard drive in it, to be honest. Anyway, I will get the camera set back up, we'll get the monitor plugged into it, and we will see. If nothing else, we'll try and boot it off a disk and see if we can get in it that way. So I'll say back in a sec. Right, okay, there we go. So I've got it connected up, and I've got it connected up to this external monitor, so we should at least be able to see a little bit better what's going on. So if I switch back on, fingers crossed, it should. There we go. Can it display this video mode? Let's try. Wonder why it can't display that video mode. Anyway, let's see how far we can get with this. For some reason that won't work with this monitor. We'll perhaps have to try a different monitor. Strike F1 key, press F2 to run setup. So let's run F2. No, it cannot display this video mode. That's really weird. Right, what have we got? Clock chip has lost power, that's what we were expecting. This is actually looking a little bit easier to read. Still not perfectly readable, but it's just about readable. So didn't compression hit any key to continue. Right, yeah, so all this is well out. Diskette drive A is not a 5 1/4 inch 1.2 meg. See what we can do to change things. Right. 3.5 inch 1.44 meg. Hard disk 1. Let's try type 1. I think it said type 17. And then I think its base memory configuration is 4 megabytes of RAM, so that should be right there. VGA, EGA, CPU speed high. ArcNet node. Well, we've not got ArcNet, so we don't need to worry about that. It's not got the coprocessor in it. It is a 386. I think it's a 386 SX20. Right, F10 to exit. I think that's how we save it. So we'll press F10. That didn't work. No boot device available. Now, what was the other one? I think it was type 30 was the other one that I... So let's try swapping that to a type 30. I can't hear a hard drive spinning, so the hard drive could either have been removed or it's dead. Let's hit enter there. That should be right. F10. No, the boot device available. Let's try just doing a Control-Alt-Delete. Control-Alt-Delete. Is it going to do anything? Hard disk failure. Let's just go and try that again and try and doing a Control-Alt-Delete, because we didn't get this far before. So F1, and then let's try sorry, F2. Hard drive failed initialization. Hit the key to continue. So let's try going back to a type 17. I think that was the other. I'm sure it was type 17 and type 30. F10 again. Missing operating system. Let's do a Control, an Alt, and a Delete. Let's see whether it's going to do anything this time. They have nothing else. We can see if we can get it to boot from floppy. Oh! Oh! It's worked! Oh bloody hell, it's running Flex OS. We'll look up here. Oh, it works. I was not expecting this. Awesome. And it's got all the software on there. Yeah, it runs Gem Desktop as the operating system. Like I said, the one that I actually used back in the very early 2000s ran Windows 95, so where this runs Gem Desktop. Oh, cool. Oh, this is very, very, very cool. I was not expecting to be able to get quite this far in it. In fact, that screen, I think, apart from the fact that it's delaminated there, this is down to the backlight's failing. You can't see that on camera, I don't think, but I can actually make all this out quite well. It's just a little bit dim compared with the bottom of the screen. It would be pretty indicative that it's the backlight that's going in it, but I said that's irrelevant. We can have a look at that. We've got it working, and we've got it working on a colour monitor as well. Awesome, absolutely awesome. I wonder if I should plug a mouse in. Have I got a mouse? Where is a serial mouse? I need a serial mouse. Is that plugged into the back of the computer? That's plugged into the back of that computer. I've got to have a serial mouse kicking about on here somewhere, because I was only using one the other day with the... Ah, there it is. With the Toshiba. I've got a serial mouse here. I was not expecting this to be able to boot up like this. Let me see if I can plug a mouse in. That's going to be tricky because I've got very little space on my desk to actually get in here, but that mouse is plugged in. Yeah. Now I don't know if I'm going to have to restart. Oh no, the mouse works. It's a bit... I don't think it likes this mouse. I wonder if it needs a specific type of mouse. That's flicking all over the place. We shouldn't need the mouse really to... because this mouse works. I was only using it the other day on the Toshiba. This wants a different type of mouse than this. Yeah, definitely. This is not happy with that kind of mouse. So let's not bother with the mouse for now, because it's not happy with that. And it must want a different type of serial mouse. But let's see if we can do anything with the keyboard. It's a very long time since I used Gem, to be honest. And I cannot remember what any of the shortcut keys for it are. No, we're not going to have a lot of luck here, I don't think, because I don't know what I am doing with Gem without a mouse. Oops, my screen's slipping. But yeah, we're going to have to deal with that, because I'm not going to be able to do anything, I don't think, without a functioning mouse on this. It does look like it kind of wants the mouse to be able to... Oh, okay. I think there's all sorts on here. I might have to be a little bit careful just in case there is any, you know, of people's personal data on this, but I don't think it's going to be a... It's hardly going to have people's business letters or anything like that on it, but it might have code for something on it, you never know. I'm sure we should be able to move across between that with tab. Or is it control one of the F key? It's so long since I used Gem Desktop that I really have forgotten all the fancy keystrokes for it. I can move up and down. Shift, return, is it? Spacebar. Enter. No, I honestly cannot remember what I'm doing. Oh, hang on. That's escape, that doesn't do anything. What I want to do is see if I can get up to the menu at the top there, but the mouse does not seem to be working the way it should be working at all, and it's not allowing me to select anything. Not using any buttons on it. I wonder if I've got a different mouse I can try. I should have one that's switchable between serial mouse and a Microsoft mouse. I'm wondering if that would be any better. Just bear with me a second, folks. Let me see if I can find a different mouse that might actually work on this, and we'll be right back. Right, okay, we're back. I've just swapped over to this SCOM mouse, which is it's a PC Microsoft switchable mouse. I've got it in PC mode, and it works perfectly. So let's go exploring, shall we? Business. Borders, control, electric. Let's see if anything's going to load up. Oh, cool. They've just got different symbols. Yeah, two-phase, single phase, that's delta. The star delta configurations. This is all stuff I used to do when I used to have to wire single phase and three-phase motors and things. So this is Gem Draw we've got loaded up here, I think. I used to run Gem Desktop on my Amstrad PC-1512 back in the 90s when I had that. Let's quit out of that. Let's load another one of them up and see what it is. Electric 7. I was really not expecting this. Yeah, we've just got all different electrical symbols. All sorts. Photoresistors, bells. Photosensitive, yeah, interesting. Let's quit out of that. Let's go and see what else we can find. Let's quit out of that. That's that way, isn't it? What else have we got in there? Flow, control, borders, org charts. Landscape, portrait, elements. Let's see what these are. I haven't seen anything to do with actually using this as a PLC programmer yet. These are like flow charts, aren't they? Yeah, for you to fill in all the different. So they've been using draw a lot on this. Right, come on off. What else have we got? Gem apps, info, library, pictures, steps, automatic. This might be the S5. That's some of the PCL controllers. It could be Protest, XGEM apps system. And then we've just got all our basic like DOS. I wonder if these will load. It'll know what to do with that. Yeah, Simtech. So this is the programming software that I was saying about. So this is for writing your programs basically to upload into your PLC. It is a very, very long time since I messed with any of this, and I wasn't actually writing the code. When I was using one of these, it was when we was updating a massive air handling system in a British aerospace factory, and I basically had to go around with one of these systems and just update the software that was already in the PLCs that were actually operating the air handling system. They had these big dampers in the air ducts that moved depending on where the airflow needed to go, and if there was a fire they could shut them off and stuff like that. And they added another big like hangar to the actual workshop facilities, and that had its own air system, and that had to be integrated in this, and basically we had to go along and update all these controllers. And that's what my experience of working with PLCs and using this kind of hardware is. I wasn't actually writing the code, I was just pulling the PLCs out. More likely in a lot of them it was a case of plugging the programming lead into the back of the system, going up about a 25-foot ladder with a very long cable and plugging it into the PLC and actually programming it in the house like that. Or if we could pull the cards, it was actually a case of pulling the card out, bringing it down to the machine, and it had something. It wasn't quite the same as this, it was like a little external unit that plugged into it, and it basically had a similar kind of edge connector as that's got there, and you plug the card in and flash the EEPROM on it that way. But it's basically the same software. This just looks a little bit older. It looks very much like, oh, and this is in German. It would be a Siemens machine, but I wonder if this has actually come from. Well, all this is in English though. I wonder why that message then just come up in German. Perhaps they just never bothered. How do we get out of it now? I'm trying to think how we quit. There we go, there's the desktop again. We can actually leave that running in the background. Very, very interesting though. I was not expecting this to actually have this much functionality still to it. Now, am I planning to keep this computer as a PLC programmer? No, I'm not. I have absolutely no use for a PLC programmer. I do just like messing with old vintage computing hardware. So, what my plans for this thing is, I'm not going to obviously get rid of this software. We can take that hard drive out, we can archive it, so we can put that hard drive away somewhere safe. We'll probably want to put something slightly bigger in here. It does, I believe, just use a standard IDE interface, so we can put bigger hard drive in it, and I want to make that, put a much better screen in it. I want to find something modern that's got a VGA input, because this is standard VGA, that will fit that. It's about a 9-inch, 10-inch screen, 4:3 aspect ratio. But what we can do now, this screen in here is only 640 by 480. However, the graphics card in here, from what I've read, can actually drive an external monitor up to 1024 by 768. So there's no reason at all why we can't put a 1024 by 768 LCD actually in there and have the full resolution that this thing's capable of. Whether we'll ever use that on a 386 based PC, I don't know. But it's a possibility. We could certainly do that. Or we could possibly have a look at just seeing if we can repair the... I mean, it'd be an interesting experiment actually, seeing if I could repair this. The backlight's not a problem. We can put a new backlight in it. That's the easy part. The hard part is this degradation on the screen here. A chap actually did comment on my previous video on the Toshiba T1200 that he's actually taken one of them screens and been able to say what it is. It's the polarizer, which is the glue on the polarizer's failed, and he's actually managed to take the polarizing layer off and clean all the glue off, and all he's up to is trying to find a new polarizing filter to go on and fix back in place, and should actually be able to make the screen perfect again. Seeing this screen, it's no real use as it is. I could have a play with this. Now, he was saying he was having difficulty finding new polarizing material. I'm wondering, I've got plenty of old scrap, you know, 32-inch, 48-inch LCD TVs. Could I pinch the polarizer off one of them? Would it be compatible? Because I mean, this is just LCD and they're technically LCD. Could I pinch the polarizer off one of them and get the right orientation for it to work, and actually just cut a piece out of one of them? And that's where I could get a source of the polarizing material from. I don't know. I'm just, you know, thinking out loud if there's a possibility of doing something like that. Or, like I said, what I'd really like to do is put a different, actual, better, more modern screen in here. It's already got 4 megabytes of RAM on board. In fact, this is going to be part 1 of these videos. This has probably actually gone on a bit further than I was expecting it to. I was not expecting to get to the stage where I could actually get it to boot the operating system up like this. I was hoping, I was actually really hoping we might be able to just get it to boot from a floppy and play Lemmings or something on it. I was not expecting to get quite to this level. We've got to do it now though, haven't we? Let's see what we've got. Let's play some games. We could play Prince of Persia. That'll play really nicely on this, I think. What else have I got in here? Got CGA Lemmings. I don't know where my copy of VJ Lemmings is actually, unless this has got the VJ part on it as well. Yeah, let's have a quick play with these, and just before we finish the video, because let's play some games. Let me try this. Plus, it'll give us a chance to see whether the disk drive actually still works. Drive A is not responding. Boo. We might have a bad floppy drive. It's not screwing my disk up, has it? No. So let's just try this Prince of Persia one. I've got this backed up on a hard drive anyway, so if it did wreck this drive, this disk would be okay. Let's give that one last quick try. No, so we've got a bad floppy drive. So we're not going to be loading any. We're not going to be loading any games on it. Just not today, anyway. Let's cancel that. No one has put any games on it, have they? No, unfortunately. Someone's been very prim and proper with this computer, and they've not sneakily stuck a quick game on it. not that they've made it obvious, anyway. Gem apps. What's in gem apps? In fact, we should really go. That's the wrong one. That one. I will have to get myself round. Definitely have to get myself around gem again. Like I say, I've not used gem for a very long time. Well, it looks like we've got gem draw on here, and there might be write on here as well. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there now because we're already running quite long on this, and the plan of this, like, was just to see exactly what I'd actually got and how, you know, when we could perhaps get to boot from a floppy or something. I was not expecting it to actually to boot into the operating system quite like that. Anyway, in the next video, there's some work we're obviously going to have to do on this thing, even, you know, disregarding actually doing something with the screen right now. Although we might have a look, see if we can just get the backlight working, leave that for the moment so we've got a working screen on it. And I'll start looking at possibly what we can do to replace that. But we're going to need to fix the floppy drive on it, that's a given. Also, it has an internal CMOS battery, a lithium CMOS battery. That is obviously flat, it's not working anymore, so we're going to have to do something so we can actually keep the CMOS settings in this. And possibly have a look at perhaps putting a different hard drive in it, possibly, you know, a compact flash solution. I don't know yet. That's something we'll have a think about, because if nothing else, I want to preserve everything that's on this drive, just in case for in the future, for any reason, I need a PLC programmer to do something. I can put the original hard drive back in it, because I'm not planning to do anything that's going to damage the actual hardware here. It would still be able to be used as a PLC programmer, but I am thinking about we could put a nice sound card in it and be able to play some cool games on it and stuff. And it is a really nice, cool form factor. I really do like this form factor of computer. I do have another similar form factor system. It's a Fieldworks military computer out of like a tank or a Humvee or something like that, unfortunately, which is about 10 years newer than this. Unfortunately, that's got major issues on the motherboard, but we'll get back to having a play with that at some point. But anyway, like I say, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed this little look at this Siemens PG-730, because I don't think you'll have seen one of these on YouTube before. Like I said, in the next one we will dive inside it, we'll have a look at the main board and we'll do them other things, sort the floppy drive out, and hopefully then we can play some games on it. So I'll say hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching and goodbye.